This is my Peugeot 307 2007, roughly about 50,000 miles. The car is a bit wet, there was a lot of rain. And here's what I found in the boot. Remove, of course, the cover. Remove the tray here with the jack and so on. Remove the spare tire. And take out the spare tire. So I can see it's almost like a swimming pool. There's quite a bit of water in there. I can probably put goldfish in there, so it will be quite alright. If your boot is full of water and potential ways where this water is coming from, if you want to see that, stay tuned. Of course, first is looking at the seals that are around the boot. And I looked at every single millimeter or inch around these seals, peeled this off, peel at the back, try to see if water is coming that way. But these seals all around the boot were really good. There's nothing wrong with them, so it's not coming from that. Of course, the second way is for the water to come through the headlight to the rear headlight, and I took the headlight and it's got a kind of a gasket, rubber gasket around it. There was nothing coming from that, so it wasn't the headlights, and there is not that much else. The other thing, of course, is to come from the glass, and I looked around everywhere around the glass if there is water coming there. This was also not coming from the glass, so it wasn't the glass, it wasn't the seals, and it wasn't the rear lights. So the culprit is this air vent that has a small rubber that sits behind the bumper here outside of the car, and it slots like that exactly. Basically what the purpose of this is when you close the boot, slam it or a door, so air could escape, so doesn't trap air pressure inside of the car. But the problem is that the seal has really perished on the top side. On the bottom is actually quite good. There is a very good, hopefully you can see it's quite good seal, but at the top has almost completely perished. You can see how cracks are there. So this slips water in there. This is, I mean, you probably can't quite see it, but this is still kind of wet on my fingers. It kind of drips water in there, and it goes and slides into the boot where the spare tire is. So what needs to be done? I'll show how both can be taken out. I mean, you push it from that side and you take it out underneath the bumper. This I'll show on the right how it can be taken out. There are 3 that plastic pin there, and you can kind of push it. There are also 3 from that side, so but from the top you can push it and take it out. So in order to get to these vents, they're behind here. So this is at the back of the boot, the vents are behind there. So there is this whole plastic thing that needs to be taken off, and there are 2 plastic fasteners here and on that side as well, and it's fairly easy to take those off. You basically have one of these plastic trim tools and just stick it in and you kind of press it open. So you take both of these things. When you've taken both of these things, then you simply just lift it like that and it will come off like that. The whole thing, the whole piece comes off there. These metal pins that you have to take off, and then you have access to the 2 vents on both sides. So the 2 vents, there is one behind here and one behind that kind of metal here, and I'll try to move around and have a flashlight so you can see it. So that's the first one, the plastic there, you see where I'm shining, that's the first vent. And then the second vent, of course, is on the same side, on the other side. That's the vent. Well, I'm trying to position it inside, but I can't quite reach in there. So they're clipped. Let me go around. So they're clipped by kind of a plastic clip. I'll show it when I take it out. Basically, if you have some plastic thing to reach here, and then from here you can also push it, this plastic, I mean, you can probably can't see it, but you can reach there as well and push it, kind of push it downwards, and it comes out. It goes behind there, so one has to be a bit of a contortionist in order to take it out. I'll show how you can take it out when you push it from there. So basically from this side I have a plastic tool, and it kind of, you can't really quite see it. I can't put that much light in there, but there is a plastic pin there, so you can kind of push it, and then from that hole here you kind of push it the same way until you've pushed it, and then you can kind of push it with the finger, and then until you kind of push the whole thing. So I managed to push the whole thing, is down here. I mean, you can do it with fingers and push this, but depends on how small or large your hands are. It's a bit more difficult. The plastic tool works, but it has to be small, or with a screwdriver basically push it. And now underneath the car to pull it out. Now underneath the car, this is the bumper, and where I'm shining, this is the plastic. You probably can't quite see it. That's the plastic there, down there. So you have to kind of squeeze your hand through the left hand side up there, and basically pull it out. Is doable. I've done the other one. So you kind of squeeze your hand from the very left of the bumper and then pull it out. It's quite difficult, but achievable. So basically I managed to basically pass your hand. So this is the tire, and this is the kind of the bumper. That's where it is. So basically squeeze it until left, right, and until you kind of pull it out. That's kind of the bottom of the car, and here's the tire. Basically that's the end of the kind of the bumper. It's a bit difficult to film, so I'll take it out. And I managed to take it out. Here is kind of the culprit. Hopefully you can see it. It goes to the bumper like that. There is the hole there. Probably you can't see it, but it kind of sticks from the outside like that. And this edge here is really, it's kind of disintegrating. I can kind of peel it off and kind of remove it bits and pieces. It's disintegrating. So when this is stuck to the metal of the car, the water comes through here. Basically the metal is here and this stuck to it, so it basically just leaks. And you can see, probably you can't quite see, but there is quite a bit of water. That's actually wet. That's kind of still wet. Hopefully you can see my finger, but it's still wet. Kind of drips around here, around this edge. On the bottom is pretty good seal, actually. It's perfect, but on the top it's really kind of disintegrated from the water and everything. So basically when you slam the door, this kind of rubber opens like that, so to equalize kind of the air, so you don't have too much pressure. So next thing is to take this edge off with scraping it and removing it. So next thing is to remove this seal, this rubber old seal, and put a new seal on and stick it back on. So I'm not gonna film removing the whole seal. Is basically I have just a metal tool, and what you do is just scrape it off. This comes so easy, it's unbelievable. The bottom is quite difficult, but at the top, see, it comes straight away, and you can just peel all around it. I mean, you can see how it's kind of burnt almost and doesn't really seal anything. So like that, I'll remove the whole edge from everywhere. Well, like that. Oh, the bottom one might be slightly easier because it hasn't broken down, so it might be a bit difficult, but I have to just remove the whole seal. So I managed to clean it pretty well, remove all the seal, so it goes in the car like that, from this hole in there. I managed to clean it rather well, but it's fairly easy to peel off from the top, quite difficult to peel off from the bottom, but it's manageable. One thing though, if you look at the seal like that, it's slightly curved, more visible from the top. It's kind of like there is a curve around here, so I have a seal to apply, but eventually might have to be a thicker seal rather than this thin seal. I'm using that. All the components and description of the video. I'm using that seal, which is I think EPDM or rubber seal, but it's a bit thin. I think it's 1.5 millimeters. So maybe because of that edge here that is slightly kind of curved slightly, so here it will be slightly more than around the edges. So I maybe need a thicker one. So I'll first try with this 1.5 millimeter EPDM. If it doesn't work, I'll put it double or buy a new one. So now it's to apply this new seal. And what I'll do, this is the top, this is the bottom. I'll apply the seal starting from the bottom so I'll seal it like that. There will be a slight gap in there, but the bottom doesn't leak, only the top leaks. So the top should be kind of straight. And I'll put one here and I'll put one there because there is a cut on that side. So I put a new seal, so it goes like that in the car. And I put a new seal around everywhere, so the top where it leaks. So I've put one seal here and one seal there. Doesn't probably make that much of a difference. this is all around, and I've joined them. In the bottom there is a slight cut in between, but that's fine. It doesn't leak from the top because it goes down. That's that actually. The seal, next thing is to slide it in from underneath the car, underneath the bumper, and down there. It's pretty fiddly. I've done the other one. It's extremely fiddly, and you have to be a contortionist in order to do it, but it's doable. It's just perseverance, and you can kind of slot it in. Let's see how this will fit in there. So basically you have to kind of, that's the back bumper of the car with my Alexa 3. So basically you reach underneath here from that side and push it up. It's right behind there, this valve or whatever, rubber clamp or valve. You kind of reach underneath like a contortionist. I'll go underneath there and just push it from that side. I think one can remove that side of the bumper, but I don't want to remove it because it's easier to put it there and it's quite big. You can put your hand in there, so that actually would work very well. But I don't want to break any of these plastic clips because there are quite a few plastic clips in there, and I have to probably buy one of these as well, and it's color coded, so it's easier just to slot it underneath there. So that's underneath the car, and you can see where the torch is shining. The seal there, that's this vent, not clamp, but the vent. This actually has clipped quite well, so I suspect it won't be leaking, but I'll advise further if this is leaking. So that's from underneath, and that's of course from the top, from the booth. When you look inside, you kind of have to look if the clips have clipped from both sides, underneath and over. And that's it. Next is to kind of assemble the plastic here and put the car out in the rain to see if this will leak. If this leaks, I'll put it twice this seal and kind of push it in order to seal, but I suspect that will be kind of alright. And of course, in order to put this plastic trim, basically you tilt it like that, squeeze it underneath the seal here, the rubber, and you just clip it on in place. So basically the rubber has to be above the plastic here. And you simply just clip it like that. And the two plastic fasteners on both sides, and that is clipped. Make sure that this rubber is above the plastic so water doesn't come in. This is how my booth was full with water and how I fixed it. If you have something like that, this is full of water. One of the reasons might be this vent at the back of the bumper. Thank you very much indeed for watching. Hopefully that was useful. If you have this problem, let me know for any comments in the comment section. Thank you.